So we got a system here. We got what I'm seeing, which is kind of nice. If you were to subtract the systems, you will get some cancellations. Now, it's better to actually subtract going that direction. I don't know how awkward that is for you. So if you don't like it, let's multiply the top one by -1. Put that down here. But that's a lot of rewriting, and that's just gonna be horrible on the test because of how much time that's going to take if you're a slow writer. But maybe that's a better trade-off than writing down the wrong answer. But the reason you do that is it's easier now than to add the two systems together to get 8y squared plus 24y equals 0. And that turned out nice. How would you solve something like this once it's down to this form?
Once it's down to that form, you would take out y.
You actually take out an 8y from both.
Oh yeah, 'cause,
That
y
becomes
then
y
y plus
plus
3.
3. Yeah, so that gets you down to 8y equals 0, y plus 3 equals 0, y equals 0, y equals -3. However, it's not like we have this great um, thing now. It's not like some of the others where it's really worked out nicely. The 0 is going to be okay. So we're going to go back to the original form. Grab these. All right, so when you put 0 in for y, and I'm going to do that in the first equation, it becomes x squared plus 8x plus 7 equals 0. So how would you solve something like this?
Um, Subtract 7 on both sides.
Nope. Always try factoring. Always, always, always try
Oh yeah,
factoring.
and you could see, 1 and 7, so you would do x squared plus 1 and then x squared plus 9.
Good, good. And this gets you down to
X
x plus
equals -1, x equals -7.
yeah, and you can't lose track of your answer. So you're now down to -1 0 as one of your answers, and then -7 0 as one of your answers. Is that okay?
Yeah.
All right. Now for the y equals -3, it's just a bit more work. Gonna do that in a different color here. We're still gonna put it in for y, but it just gives us a little bit more stuff. So it's x squared plus -3 squared plus 8x minus 20 times -3 plus 7 equals 0. X squared plus 9 plus 8x plus 60 plus 7 equals 0. So this produces x squared plus 8x plus 76 equals 0. This actually has no solution, which is a little bothersome, but that is possible. You know why this has no solution? Or is that something I think we might need a little bit of discussion on that.
Yeah, let me go with yeah, why don't we go over
Yeah, so in the previous problem, you were about to subtract 7 from both sides, and that looks bad initially because it's negative. This is even worse because the completing the square here would end up being x plus 4 squared, and you would end up adding 16 to both sides. And that's where you run into problems because it's the square root of a negative number.
Yeah. Make it I.
Yeah, the other thing I kind of look for is like where's the y-intercept? The y-intercept's way up here at 76. It'd have to really come down pretty far to be getting to that. Okay. That's it for this one. There's your answers. Is that good?
Yeah.
Okay.
Wait, so um wait, why did you plug in -3?
I was putting it into the first equation again because it looked
Oh, that's
easier
where
than
you
the
got
second.
the
Yeah,
3
and you have to choose which one.
Got it. Yeah, yeah, I think I get it now. Um, the next one that I'd like to go over is number 6.
So we're into the maybe the calculator stuff. Sometimes these problems lend themselves better to that. All right, you may have to remind me what goes in what position, but I think we were putting picture, equation, solving it. We're kind of doing that. And final answers or sentence, and then this was the final answers.
Yeah.
Hint, Pythagorn. Why wouldn't she just type it out? Okay. Um, right triangle's hypotenuse. So here's your right triangle. Let's switch back to black here. All right, so the triangle is 2 centimeters, hypotenuse is 2 centimeters shorter than three times the length of the shortest leg. The longer leg is 2 centimeters more than 2 times the shortest leg. So to me, it looks like X is the shortest leg.
Yeah. So,
Okay, and then the longer leg is 2 centimeters more than 2 times the shortest leg. That's 2x plus 2. And then it's 2 centimeters shorter than 3 times the longest leg. So that's the setup. And that's really critical here to be able to do this problem. Is that okay so far?
yeah.
So the next thing here is that you have a triangle ABC, A squared plus B squared equals C squared. That's the Pythagorean theorem. Now you're squaring everything. So it's really X in parentheses squared plus parentheses 2x plus 2 squared equals parentheses 3x minus 2 squared like that. And if you're doing this by hand, it's pretty important to show expansion that you don't miss multiply. Could you foil this both sides for us, please?
All right. On the left side, I got 4x squared plus 8x plus 4. And you have to add the x squared there as well.
Yep, 5x²
5x
plus 8x
squared
plus
plus
1.
8x.
Good. Do the same
The
thing on
other
the right, please.
side would be 9x squared minus 12x plus 4.
Good. And then we're going to move everything to the right. So we're going to subtract 5x², subtract 8x, subtract 4. You end up getting 4x² minus 20x, like that, equals 0.
So
It's
you take out the x and then
take out 4x. 4x, always take out the number as well if you can.
got it. Yeah, so then equal 4x to 0, x minus 5 to 0. Then you would get x equals 0 and x equals 5.
Right. And the only reasonable one here is the 5. Now, you gotta be careful that you actually give what it's asking for. It's asking for the shortest leg, which is x. So you could say 5 is the length of the shortest leg, but it might ask for the long leg. Then you'd have to do 2 times 5 plus 2, and then the hypotenuse 3 times 5 minus 2. You could be asked for any of them.
Got it. Just basically answering the last part of the question where it says, what is the length of...
Yeah, but it could ask for anything, really,
Yeah.
or the perimeter, or the area.
Um,
What do you want to look at next?
um, so I don't think I have any more questions on it, but I think we could do some more practice maybe on review part 2.
So I'm concerned about your ability to do a problem like 7 or 5 where you need the equation for the height of the ball, or you need to know all those things.
Yeah,
Have
I
you
think
done
it,
either 5 or 7 yet?
no.
Okay, which one do you want us to do?
We'll go ahead and start off with number 5.
Okay. All right, I'm gonna snip it in. And I probably have asked, and I apologize, but do you get an equation sheet or anything on your test?
I don't think so.
All right, so the height of the ball as a function of time is the initial height plus the initial velocity times time plus 1/2 a t squared. You told me that your instructor kind of shortens this to minus 16 t squared.
Yeah, she just tells us to use minus 16t squared plus
Okay.
v sub 0 t.
Yeah, you can switch the order.
Yeah, it's basically just
So
flipped around. Yeah,
this 20 feet per second and then
that's
14
the
feet off the ground. Yep.
velocity. And then
Yeah. So this is 14 plus 20t minus that. So this time the ball is released up and then comes crashing down. What are they asking for? They're asking for something at position 1 or position 2.
um, well, um, they're asking for 2. Just the difference between the zeros.
Yes. So the answer here is setting the equation equal to 0. All right, so, you know, you're allowed to use a calculator, right?
Yeah, this is the calculator portion. Yeah.
So the fastest way to use your calculator is quadratic formula.
Yeah.
All right, so do you want to try quadratic formula on this one?
Yes. Let me first start down. X equals. I got for the plus version of the quadratic formula, I got negative 1/2. For the minus, I got 7/4.
Yeah, so
And
which is the correct answer in this in this
7/4
yeah. Now
because
we want to give that as a probably as a decimal. And what are the units?
the units would be seconds.
Yes. All right, good. Now here's what you could do if you had like a lot of time, which I know you probably don't, but let's just say you did. You could do this problem where you figure out stuff at number one as well. You could just do that part of it to see if you've got it. We don't need to. So 7 is actually just like that one. So let's not do that. I'm surprised it's not asking about the vertex. So we could do 7, but we should do it like where we find something on the vertex, or we can move on. What would you like to do?
Yeah, we could do something with the vertex.
All right. So the question would be rewritten this way, where it would say, what is the maximum height? What is the max height of the ball? So again, it's projected from the ground, goes up, comes down, what goes up must come down. What
We're
is
looking for
the
them. We're looking for the
max height?
vertex.
Yeah. So it's like you said, it's h of
So
t
t
equals minus
equals
16.
t plus 80t
And what's the initial height that it starts at?
from the ground, so it's plus 0. So
Yeah. So if you take physics, and you will in college for sure, you will see these equations again. Uh, they don't always give you all the numbers.
and then to find the max height, you need to get it into vertex form and then take the h and k from there.
Yeah. Well, I would actually use x equals minus b over 2a for the vertex.
Oh, then plug in and then plug that back in for t. So
Yeah.
the x equals minus b, so minus 80. over 2. I got 5 over 2, which you plug into h of t, we I got 100. So 2.5 comma 100 is the vertex.
All right, very good.
And since this is t comma h, it would be the max height would be 100 feet.
Okay, so 100 feet. Oh, you know what? We used the wrong number here. It's 30. Oh no, I'm sorry. It is 16. I'm sorry. You're not using the metric. All right, good. Good, good, good. Uh, Confusing myself thinking about physics problems. All right, we should definitely look at nine, because nine can be messed up pretty easily. Um, all right, look, we look at nine real quick.
Yeah,
All right, so the mistake here is to think that what's in parentheses is useful for the axis of symmetry or the vertex. It has to be in this form, x minus
yes.
h squared plus k, which means this 3 is bad. Okay, so this is
Couldn't you expand, don't you have to expand the equation and then make it standard form and
I
then
would,
do
you can, but I would not do that. Here's what I would do instead. I would factor the 3 out so that it becomes this.
got it?
Now, there's a little bit more to it. This is squared, so this is squared, which means that it's x minus 2/3 squared and then a 9 in front.
Oh yeah, because you're trying to simplify the bigger squares. Yeah,
Yeah. So now the axis of symmetry is 2/3. But let's say they wanted something else. Yeah, that might matter. Yeah, you'd be wish you had factored that out here. The k is still this number. Um, let's why don't you try number 10 on your own?
I got g of 0 equals 17.
Got it. Good job. Okay, so the next problem I want us to look at is 11. We had one like this where I remember there was some issue with like figuring out whether it was the vertex form or something or factor form. Remember in a previous quiz. I want you to look here. Do you see? Oh, I'm sorry. This is actually not what I was thinking of. Looks like you guys moved on to something new. So h of 3 is what did 3 represent?
3 represents the x,
Yeah, x
so
is 3.
the
So you go
equals
find
like
it.
x3, x9, yeah.
So h of 3 equals 9. How about this? What is if h of x equals 36, what is x?
X is 6.
Yes, good. Okay, you got that down. All right, let's move on to 13. I see there's one here that stands out. They're all awful. All right, let's look at 13a. All right, solve the system. What you're looking for typically is a way to eliminate the variables. None of these combine directly to eliminate something. You can't combine one with two or two with three or one with three. So your eyes should be drawn to, and I know you probably are drawn here. That's where most students are, which is okay. That works. I do really like this minus y here. That's kind of very attractive to getting rid of y in these two. Um, that would be the better way to go. But if you focus on these, that's fine too. So that's the key. The key to doing these problems is to create a plan. Have a plan, have a target before you do this. All right, so let's multiply this one by -2. Make sure you multiply everything. We had a few instances where we forgot to multiply that, which is really, really bad. All right, so see how these combine down to get rid of the x like this.
Yeah.
Is that okay? And we're gonna do the same thing with the middle equation. We're gonna multiply it by -3 this time. And this is not the best way, but it does work. Um, what I would encourage you to do is if you have time, is to do it the way I was suggesting, which is to eliminate using the y. And maybe, just maybe, it will reduce down into something better when you um, go to solve this. Well, I was wrong. So see how we got an 8y here and an 8y here? I guess it worked out. So from here, you combine the two equations. We'll bring this one down. 8y minus 7z equals 26. And I'm gonna subtract. Hopefully that's okay. The only kind of oddity I think is when you get the negative. So it's -11 minus a -7. That's minus 4z. 18 minus 26 is -8. So you get z equals 2. So if you follow that, the rest of it's just as important. You got to be able to back substitute. You got to be able to put this back into one of these equations. Probably would do the top one. Why don't you solve the top one for y, please?
I got y equals 5.
Okay, good. And then now you can go back to any one of the original equations and solve for x. There's not a good one. There's just maybe reference. I kind of like the top one because it's all pluses. I mean, maybe my would go there. I couldn't say for sure.
Yeah. Oh, good one. So, I got x equals -1.
Okay. All right, very good. All right, so I want to do number uh C differently, and then we'll come back and do. I want to make sure we get to this. We've not done this yet, and I can just see this being a potential thing in your class. Give me just a moment here. I'm solving this, by the way, because we're gonna turn this into a multiple choice. Well, that's not good. 1, 2, 0, -1, -1, 3, 2, -4, -1, 1, -4, 10. Boy, that is awful. Did your teacher mention having fractional answers?
Um, with the three equations.
'Cause this one doesn't work out nicely. -1, 3, and 1, 2, and -4.
E, wait, this
Anyway, oh,
is part 2, so part 2, second C. C, yeah, you can have fractional.
yeah, this one's kind of ridiculous. Let me try this other one. So I want you to look this one over and kind of give me your path forward to solving it. Like, are you going to get rid of X? Are you going to get rid of Y? Are you going to, like what do you kind of see when you look at that?
You can use the first and the third equation
Okay.
and cancels out y and x,
Yeah, that's really good. That is really, really good.
which leaves
So
you with
when
just
that
c.
happens, yeah, when that happens, you should do that.
Yeah, so then it leaves you with z, which one of the z's is already solved for it then, which is z equals -11. The other would just be dividing it by 4, so 4 is equals -9. And then z equals -9/4 and z equals -11. Like that.
That's good.
Then wait, wait, oh wait, never mind. I did it wrong. Z equals -4.
Z is definitely -4.
Yeah, that's what I got wrong. I think I accidentally just equated them to Z and simplified that instead of
Problem with that is
Combination.
like, even though you get Z, you don't have a path to get X or Y directly. You still have to, you're always looking at like, well, which equations am I combining? Like you've already done one and three. And you kind of look ahead, does combining two and three help with
2 and 3.
so I would combine like the first two equations because that gets rid of Y and Z.
Y and Z. I see that now. Uh, and that leaves you with X. Or X equals. That leaves you with X equals -3/4.
Right. Yep. Kind of same thing. Well, when you get the combine the first two, right, you get 4x equals -4. So what does X equal?
X. Oh, wait. -4? I got -3.
-11 plus 7. We're
Oh,
just adding those together.
-11 plus 7. Yeah, that'd be -4.
Okay. Once you get X and Y, you can use any of the equations. I'm sorry, X and Z. You can use any of the equations to find Y. Does one stand out to you?
Um, the last one.
Okay. Go ahead and use that and solve for Y, please.
All right. I got Y equals 3.
Okay, that sounds good. Now, one of the things I'm not doing here that I'll just remind you of is you want to write it as an ordered triplet, X, Y, Z. Don't forget to, put that down. That could be a small thing that, you lose a point here and there for something like that. All right, well, we got some time here to go through some other stuff. I mean, I feel like we've covered macro level everything, but we have time to do some more problems. What else would you like us to work on today from this review? And I don't think we should do 13C because of the nature of the answers.
Uh, Guys, why don't we go over
Or something from the previous review that still isn't clear.
let's see, this video, maybe some more practice with here, let me put the screenshot up. The review number one. We did this problem yesterday, or not yet, I think it was yesterday. Um, but it was like some more practice with problems like it. It's the one where it's 4 minus 2i over 7 minus 3i.
Yeah, I mean, they give you a couple here to
And
try
then,
here.
yeah, the
Let's go six
instructions were just
plus.
to write the number
Yeah, let's go
in
six
right
plus
beside it.
5i over 2 minus 3i. Why don't you try that? Um, just getting comfortable combining terms, but you can absolutely do this.
All right, I've got actually
Make sure you give it in this form where it's, fraction, fraction I.
yeah. All right, I got negative 3 over 13 plus 28 over 13i.
Very good. Okay, yeah, it looks good. I mean, what else do you got? It's like maybe a quick question, verbal question.
Um,
Questions on factoring, square root property, quadratic formula.
yeah, so pretty much the quadratic formula would be the easiest way to factor something with the calculator, right?
Yes,
Like,
quadratic formulas.
yeah,
And
you
even if
just
it factors, you still can use quadratic formula. It'll give you the right answer.
yeah.
I think your teacher disguises the problems though. And I mean, truthfully, like you're not getting, it's not always as direct as it should be, but I don't know what to tell you. It's her style. Don't forget the square root of -1 is I. Sometimes you'd see a problem where it's, 5x minus 4 squared equals -9.
Yeah, you gotta remember that. That's like if you were to square root it, that would be like
Yeah,
3i
plus or minus. Don't
plus
forget the plus or
minus.
minus. Yeah.
Yeah, not forget plus or minus.
Try to have that internal clock of, how much time you can actually spend before you need to move on. If you have time every now and then, do a problem, see how long it takes, then look at the clock and see how long it actually took so you can get an idea of how much time, you're really doing.
Got it.
All right. Well, you're going to be okay.